For 6 years, neighbors saw him as just the friendly UPS guy who always waved. But when Marcus spotted the signs of a child abduction happening right in front of him, his response revealed why some warriors choose civilian jobs, where they can still protect innocent people. Marcus Chen had been driving delivery routes for Valley Express Cargo for 6 years straight. Same neighborhoods, same streets, same familiar faces waving from doorways. Maple Ridge was a quiet suburban area, the kind of place where kids rode bikes until dark and neighbors knew each other's names. Marcus knew this route like his own heartbeat. Mrs. Patterson at 23 Elm always had her packages delivered to the back door because her arthritis made the front steps difficult. The Johnson family at 41 Oak always had their golden retriever barking excitedly when the truck arrived. And the Henderson house at 47 Maple, that's where 7-year-old Emma would press her face to the living room window every Tuesday and Thursday around 2:30 p.m., waiting to wave at the delivery truck. For 6 years, this routine had been Marcus's peaceful civilian life. What none of his co-workers knew was that 12 years earlier, Marcus had been Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen, 75th Ranger Regiment, with 3 combat deployments and specialized training in reconnaissance and hostage rescue operations. Marcus had left military service not because he was done protecting people, but because he wanted to protect them differently. Delivery work let him stay alert, stay mobile, and keep watch over communities without carrying weapons or engaging in violence. It was healing in its way, until Tuesday, November 12th, when everything changed. Marcus was running his usual route when he pulled up to 47 Maple Street with a package for the Henderson family. It was 2:32 p.m., exactly when Emma should have been at the window, exactly when she'd been there every Tuesday for the past 3 years. But something was wrong. Emma was at the window, but she wasn't waving. Her small hands were pressed against the glass, and her face showed pure terror. Behind her, Marcus caught a glimpse of a man he'd never seen before, someone who definitely wasn't Mr. Henderson. Marcus's military training kicked in immediately. Threat assessment, pattern recognition, tactical evaluation. Emma's behavior was all wrong. The unknown adult in the house was wrong. The fact that Mrs. Henderson's car was missing from the driveway when she should have been home was wrong. Instead of walking to the front door with the package, Marcus activated his radio and pretended to confirm delivery details while actually studying the house. Through his peripheral vision, he saw the unknown man grab Emma and pull her away from the window. That's when Marcus spotted the license plate of a van parked across the street. Not a neighborhood vehicle, positioned for quick escape, engine still running. Every instinct Marcus had developed over 3 combat deployments started screaming. This wasn't a family situation. This was an abduction in progress. Marcus had been trained for situations exactly like this, not identical situations. He'd never rescued a kidnapped child from a suburban house while dressed as a delivery driver. But the principles were the same. Assess the threat, call for backup, execute a plan that prioritized civilian safety. He radioed his dispatcher. "Central, this is Unit 47. I need immediate police response to 47 Maple Street. Possible child endangerment situation. I'm maintaining visual surveillance." "Copy that, Unit 47. Police dispatch has been notified. Maintain your position and do not engage." But Marcus wasn't just maintaining position. He was conducting reconnaissance. Moving naturally around his truck, as if organizing packages, Marcus observed the house from multiple angles. One adult male, approximately 6'1", medium build, holding what appeared to be a 7-year-old girl against her will. No other suspects visible. 2 possible exit points, front door and back sliding door. The van across the street had a clear sight line to both exits. Marcus had handled hostage situations in Iraq and Afghanistan. He understood that the most dangerous moment in any rescue operation was when the hostage-taker felt cornered and decided to run or fight. Right now, the kidnapper had no idea he'd been spotted. That was an advantage Marcus intended to keep. The front door opened, and the man emerged with Emma. She wasn't crying. She was too scared to cry. But Marcus could see her absolute terror. The man was holding her hand in a way that looked casual to anyone not trained to recognize restraint techniques. Marcus made a decision that drew on 12 years of civilian life and 8 years of military training. "Afternoon," Marcus called out cheerfully, walking toward them with a clipboard and package. "Got a delivery for Henderson. You folks heading out?" The kidnapper stopped, clearly not expecting interaction. "Yeah, we're just going to the store." Marcus smiled and kept walking closer, using his body language to appear friendly and non-threatening, while actually positioning himself to block the path to the van. "Emma, right? I see you at the window every Tuesday. You always give me the best waves." Emma looked at Marcus with desperate hope, recognizing the familiar delivery driver who'd been part of her routine for years. The kidnapper tightened his grip on Emma's hand. "We really need to go." "Oh, absolutely," Marcus said, now close enough to act if necessary. "But I do need someone to sign for this package." "Company policy. Takes just a second." That's when Marcus noticed the kidnapper's mistake. The man looked toward the van, signaling his escape route and revealing that this was planned, not spontaneous. Marcus stepped slightly to his right, further blocking the path to the van while extending the clipboard. "Just need a signature here." The kidnapper realized he was trapped between signing for a package that would leave evidence of his presence and trying to push past a delivery driver who might remember his face. He made the wrong choice. The kidnapper released Emma's hand and shoved Marcus hard, trying to create space to run. But Marcus had been expecting physical contact from the moment he'd approached. Marcus absorbed the shove, used the momentum to grab the kidnapper's extended arm, and applied a control hold he'd learned for subduing combatants without causing permanent injury. The entire sequence took less than 3 seconds. "Emma, run to my truck," Marcus said calmly. "Right now." Emma didn't hesitate. She ran straight to the delivery truck and climbed into the passenger seat, where Marcus kept a company radio and emergency supplies. The kidnapper tried to break free, but Marcus had been trained by professionals who understood leverage, pressure points, and how to control someone without escalating to deadly force. "Easy," Marcus said quietly. "Don't make this harder than it has to be. Police are already on the way." The kidnapper was stronger than Marcus had expected, and desperation made him dangerous. He twisted violently, trying to land punches, kicks, anything to break free. Marcus adjusted his hold, using techniques designed to control violent suspects while minimizing injury to both parties. This wasn't combat, this was law enforcement, and Marcus treated it accordingly. "Emma," Marcus called without taking his eyes off the kidnapper, "use the radio in my truck. Press the red button and say, 'Emergency, officer needs assistance, 47 Maple Street.' Can you do that?" "Yes," Emma's voice was shaky but determined. Within 90 seconds, Marcus could hear sirens approaching. The kidnapper heard them too and stopped struggling, realizing his situation had become hopeless. When police arrived, they found Marcus maintaining perfect control of the suspect, while Emma sat safely in the delivery truck, using the radio like a professional dispatcher to coordinate with emergency services. Detective Lisa Park, first on scene, immediately recognized that Marcus wasn't just a delivery driver who'd gotten lucky. "Sir," she said after securing the suspect, "that was textbook suspect restraint. Where'd you learn to do that?" Marcus was checking on Emma, making sure she wasn't injured. "Military training." "Long time ago. What branch? What unit?" Marcus looked at Emma, who was now crying with relief as her mother arrived on scene after being contacted by police. "Rangers. But that was a different life. Detective Park stared at him. Rangers. That explains the tactical approach, the threat assessment, the way you controlled the situation. The kidnapper, now in handcuffs, had been identified as Robert Hayes, a registered sex offender with outstanding warrants who'd been surveilling the Henderson family for weeks, learning their routine and waiting for an opportunity. According to the investigation, Hayes had entered the house through an unlocked back door while Mrs. Henderson was grocery shopping, intending to abduct Emma and drive to a remote location in another state. If Marcus hadn't noticed Emma's distress, if he hadn't trusted his instincts, if he hadn't used his training to safely intervene, Emma Henderson would have disappeared forever. The story made local news. Delivery driver saves girl from kidnapper. But Marcus declined all interviews. He didn't want recognition, didn't want attention, didn't want his military background to become the focus. Valley Express Cargo offered him a promotion, a transfer to management, recognition ceremonies. Marcus politely declined all of it. "I like my route," he told his supervisor. "I like knowing the neighborhoods, seeing the same faces, being part of the community. That's exactly where I need to be." What Marcus didn't say was that his normal delivery job was perfect for someone with his background and instincts. It kept him mobile, alert, and positioned to notice when things went wrong in the communities he served. Emma Henderson returned to pressing her face against the living room window every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:30 p.m. But now, when Marcus arrived, she didn't just wave. She ran outside to hug the man who'd saved her life. Mrs. Henderson started leaving cookies for Marcus with a note that said simply, "Thank you for seeing what others might have missed." Marcus would smile, wave to Emma, and continue his route. Same neighborhoods, same streets, same peaceful civilian life that let him protect people without violence, serve without uniform, and use his training to keep communities safe. 6 months after the rescue, Valley Express Cargo quietly updated their driver training to include basic threat recognition and emergency response procedures. The training was developed in consultation with a former military specialist who preferred to remain anonymous. Marcus never officially participated in creating the training program, but drivers across the company began learning to trust their instincts, recognize suspicious behavior, and respond appropriately to situations that felt wrong. Other delivery companies adopted similar programs. Postal workers, utility technicians, service providers, people who moved through neighborhoods on regular schedules, began understanding that their jobs positioned them to be early warning systems for their communities. Emma Henderson grew up knowing that heroes don't always wear uniforms or carry badges. Sometimes they drive delivery trucks and wave from behind familiar steering wheels. Sometimes they choose ordinary jobs because ordinary jobs let them stay close to the people who need protection. So now I gotta ask you guys, have you ever noticed someone who seemed to see things others missed? Someone whose regular job put them in position to spot trouble before it became dangerous? Drop a comment and tell us about the quiet guardians in your neighborhood. The delivery drivers, postal workers, service technicians, who keep watch over our communities just by doing their jobs with awareness and care. Because here on The Human Stories, we honor the protectors who never stopped serving, even when they traded combat boots for work boots. The warriors who found ways to keep defending people just from different positions. Thanks for watching, guys. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to understand that heroism comes in work uniforms and company trucks. Hit subscribe to help us celebrate the everyday heroes who keep our neighborhoods safe. And the next time you see a delivery driver, a postal worker, someone making their regular rounds through your community, remember Marcus Chen. Remember that some of the most important protections happen during routine moments, by people trained to notice when routine gets broken. Because sometimes the most critical battles are won by people who choose to stay close to home, stay alert to danger, and stay ready to act when innocent lives are at risk. That's what real warriors do. They never stop protecting. They just find new ways to serve.